back. Just a few things before we continue. Yeah, first of all, also, and I apologise for not mentioning it before, a big thank you and shout out to Ducky. Very inspiring seeing the end project of your craftsmanship in regards to your sword making. That spurred me on when I had creative blocks towards this particular exhibit. Also, to Neil, Pip, and Dave 44, you was absolutely right about taking a break, because making these sculptures really started to affect me after a while. I'm very happy that they're done, which is why I wanted to share them with you all. As I say, I'll make sure to put them on the site and have them displayed professionally so you can see the details and whatnot. But it's my way of trying to thank you all. It was strange. The archontic influence from making them, it really did start to take a toll on me, as you all warned me. I've got my bearings back now, but yeah, you was 100% right, and I listened, but I guess I'm stubborn, and I wanted to get through them, and get through it, and finally I have. There was something else I wanted to mention quick. Oh yeah, off subject, but I deliberately, specifically tried to, um, pardon me, focus on the eyes of these models, as they have no soul. You'll notice the eyes of each archon is either covered, or deformed, or altered in some way, along with the hearts, the heart chakra. After each and on each one of them, it's I've tried to symbolize the absence of one. And last but not least, I know it seems a bit weird, but the genitals, because the same way reptilians feed off of loosh energy, from the research I've done and from what you've taught me, the archons, okay, I worked this out recently, and I guess it ties into why the media present and portray it so much, sex and violence. Yeah, they usually do it atomically, with patterns and colors, as you may have seen in my videos, or you probably know anyway already before I even did. But the idea of yellow or saffron, it goes way back. It's the energy of sex, and pink being the energy of violence, which is why the media portray it all the time. But the point being, I also focused on the genitals of each archon, due to the fact that they feed off of sexual energy, and of course, the best energy for them would be the most negative, which would be a combination of sex and violence, which of course leads us to what? Sodomy, rape, molestation. So I've focused on that too. I tried to just be direct with it, hence probably why it took such a toll on me. Yeah, so moving on. Before I show this one, it's the last one before the Demiurge. The focus point in respect to its folklore and its mythology is Slender Man, as they've all got their own thing, as I said. you know, the Electrical Night Jester, Wendigo, Indrid Cold or Mothman, the Divine Feminine, Kronzon 333, which is more of a lesser demon of Solomon, along with Paimon, which is also Blood Impaler. Yeah, so this one was partly based on Slender Man, but it's also based on a script that I read when I was a lot younger. Um, I'm 29 now. I used to want to be a director, as I've mentioned before in a few of my videos, until I realised how much they, pull your ideas apart along with you if you're a true human being. Um, I'm going to try and turn them into graphic novels. In particular, I had one called The Harbinger, and I didn't know I was writing about Archons at the time, but now I see that that's exactly what they were. And the idea, or the main plot line of it, was one Archon in particular that was betrayed by the Demiurge. I know this now, and decided to fight back. And in doing so, it had to. This particular Archon had to face its brethren, being the ones I've already showed you. Yeah, very similar. I suppose very similar to those of you that may know the storyline to Soul Reaver, my favourite game of all time. Yeah, um, Raziel being betrayed by Cain, and then he has to um, hunt down each of his brethren, siblings that betrayed him before getting to the Demiurge, Cain, which is what that game is all about, as I also covered recently. So this was the, if you can call a fucking Archon a protagonist, this was meant to be it. This one here. Now, what I just told you, Joy did not know, and yet she said the same. She said this one seems to be more, well, it was her favourite. She even nicknamed it Mr. Squiggles. Because it's I mentioned this before as well. I used seaweed as the organic element to this one. Um, in the visor here, you see all these tentacles coming out. Yeah, it's all seaweed, as is the arms. This is seaweed, dried up seaweed, and Archie, the Archon, as his hand. I gave this one a sword. I gave this one a blade, maybe tying into the rod of iron, as I've explained before, the artificial intelligence mentioned in the Bible. Yeah, and this is a piece of tarmac that I found. Um, Again, poor quality. I do apologise, but there he is. Each one is also based on a horror folklore. Also, I forgot to mention. So this one would be Frankenstein's monster, hence turning on the creator, its creator, the false creator, but nonetheless turning on it. Again, I've tried to make it very biomechanical along with the rest because they are machine-like in nature. The Archons, from the research I've done and been taught. You'll see the stretchy sort of slender man touch, hopefully. And the fins, as I say, have this thing with giving them shark fins, even on the head here. And here's like my touch of what I try to do in regards to having a being like a homage to Frankenstein's monster. So instead of bolts on the neck, it has these bolts on the head that I found. Just a piece of metal from an electrical box. And there's a baby shell in here for the aquatic part. And the way that shells wind around, they spiral, almost hypnotizing. That's what I was trying to go for. But Ducky likes swords, so that one's for him. Okay. Yeah, and last but not least, or at least it would like to believe so, the Demiurge. Again, I tried to make all of them as insectual as well as mechanical in nature. Giving them all either like a mollusk touch or um, a, a beetle touch or an arachnid touch. You know, um, but yeah, this one took the most work. It's also the biggest sculpture that I've made so far. I tried to make all of them larger than life, but this one's very long, as you can see. Tried to give it more of a centipede touch. Um, Here we have these twigs that I found that are very tentacle-like. They almost have suckers on them for the cephalopod influence and the mollusk antennae and the rings of Saturn. And of course, the black Saturn cube on top. I tried to give it that clown touch, Neil, because as you taught me, it's very clown-like in nature, right? The way it's described, portrayed, presented in media and whatnot, and in art. So yeah, I also gave it like this masquerade mask that it's holding. The ones on the stick that they hold up in Victorian times and whatnot. And if you look closer, you'll see it's what it's meant to be. The face of a grey. I thought you'd like that 44, as you've mentioned before. They hide behind the greys, pretending to be them, which is why I've used it as a masquerade mask that the Demiurge is holding. Again, I do apologise for the poor quality in the camera. I will make, I will, take decent photographs of them to put on the website. Yeah, I enjoyed making this one the most. Um, there's also an anchor here. It's hard to see, but I found this. I think it's a car part. It's from a car, but the anchor is on the stomach. You know, it's my way of trying to symbolize the empty hunger that the Archons have. And I thought the Demiurge deserved that anchor. Um, Tried to make it mechanical. There's a lot of metal to this one, and on the back, on the fin. Yeah. Um, so there we have it. Um, I couldn't have completed this edition, the Archon edition, without the help of all of you, which is why I wanted to share them with you. Um, as I said, it did take me to a dark place. I didn't even realise it, but I suppose it's to be expected, you know. However, I I know how to deflect it now. I mean, the deflection was already put in place because, of course, if you're going to make anything that could be considered a sanctuary or an idol, it's going to inflict upon you, isn't it? It's going to um, manipulate you in some way. But because I knew what I was doing and why I was doing it and how I was doing it and where it come from and where I wanted it to go, I overcome it. But it just goes to show the power of art, and even more importantly, the influence that Archons and the Demiurge can have within and through the art that you produce. Because it really did affect me. Um, and you guys saved me. I wasn't aware of it until you all made it aware to me. And not only did it get me to complete all 8 of them, but it got me to the place I'm at now where I'm free from them. um, so yeah, this video, both of them, is for you. It's for Neil, it's for Dave, it's for Pip, and it's for Ducky. And I really can't thank you enough for your input, your inspiration, your invigoration, and your education. Love you all. Thank you.